Hey guys, King of Charmanders here. Today I bring to you a video on the best water builds guide. Season 7, Slay Riftborne Magnamalo, because this is the reason why you want a water build, at least for the upcoming event, as this video analyzes the best water builds. We'll also analyze budget as well as veteran builds. So if you're a beginning player, or if you're looking for the pathway to getting to the best water builds, well, I'm going to put it in here as well. And of course, like I mentioned, Magnamalo is weak to water, so this will be the best element to take on the new Riftborne monster. So if you want the Riftborne weapons, etc., or to do the most damage, you'll want to use water as much as you can. Alright, first off, we're going to start off with melee, and here's the best melee water builds data as we analyze the data from the most realistic melee water attack and Namiel Electrowave combos. This is a lot of what you see. I put every single comment, it's a lot of work. So if you don't have someone show you this, do not listen to them because they don't know how to break down builds, or they're just lazy, or they're both. And the strongest builds that are consistent, as we see here per the data, are Namiel Electrowave 3 as well as the classic critical element build. However, the critical element build is only consistent if your weapon carries positive crit as well. Experts will tell you you need a high crit in order for something to work. If they are saying a 55% crit is consistent damage, no, it's not. The standard is it needs to be at least 70% or higher. That's the sweet spot, at least 70%. If it's close to it, okay, like 65, alright, cool, that can work. But if you're doing a coin flip, if it's anywhere close to 50, do not listen to them. They have no idea what they're talking about. And the thing is, if you can't do that, the classic critical element build is a great one. However, the classic elemental one, which is Elemental Attack 5, still works if you can't use Critical Element or the Namiel Electrowave builds, because they're both both the Critical Element and Namiel Electrowave builds are very expensive. And this brings us to the first build we have here, which is the Budget Water Melee build, Water Attack 5. Classic Water Attack 5 build. This is what I went after. This is what most of you that started off this game a year or 2 years ago, when there wasn't all these extra skills out there. This is the Classic Water Attack 5 build. Yeah, if you look at the data, it's really low in damage-wise in comparison to the top ones, but if you can build it, it works. This is your cheapest pathway to Water Attack 5, and this is what beginner/early game players should strive for. You can use anything you want for the waist slot, so you can pop anything you want in waist slot. The important thing in here is that you have Lock-On as well as Water Attack 5. That's why you have the Kulu Helm in here, because the Kulu Helm is your first source of lockdown. I mean, not lockdown. Lock-On when you first start out the game. To use this build, you need the Kuliyaku helmet at grade 6, the Gyrototus mail at grade 5, the Gyrototus fan braces at grade 6, and the Great Jagras Greaves at grade 6. Moving on, we have the best water melee builds, and starting at number 1, we have the Namiel Electrowave 3 build, where it maxed out Namiel Electrowave 3 and it nearly maxed out water attack, with the highest theoretical damage at 4,435. It's also the most consistent because your water value boost is permanent even if you don't hit weak spots. So because of Namiel Electrowave 3 and Water Attack 4, which is the highest you can get without Drift Smelting, you don't need to hit weak spots for you to do consistent damage, because your damage is consistently increased no matter what. And build doesn't rely on landing critical hits, but unfortunately it's expensive. You need 3 Namiel pieces, of course, to max out Namiel Electrowave at grade 8. And along with this though, if you are able to build this, Critical Boost 1 gives some extra damage when you successfully land critical hits. So you have Critical Boost as well as Critical Eye and Latent Power to give you that extra damage if you manage to activate said conditions. To use this build, you need the Coral Puke helmet at grade 8, the Namiel mail at grade 8, Namiel van braces at grade 8, Namiel coil at grade 8, and the Great Jagras Greaves at grade 6. Next up, we have the best water melee build at number 2, Critical Element, the classic Critical Element. With melee, you can actually get it into different variations, and it's only about 5% behind the highest theoretical melee build as far as water builds go. And there are 2 variations, like I mentioned, if you have the Carnival 2024 mail, if you don't, that's a good part about it. Thanks to recent updates, you can now get it without having to complain that the Carnival 2024 mail is locked to an event, which I agree with, it should be outside, but here's the big note. This build is only consistent when paired with a weapon that has positive affinity. Otherwise, it's not really that great because, again, consistency. If your crit is not high with Critical Element, at least 7%, close to that, it's not going to be consistent. Like, one of my biggest pet peeves when people talk about consistency but cannot actually explain what consistent means. So, here's the 2 builds that you need if you are going to use critical element nowadays. The Silver Rathalos helmet, either the Nargacuga mail at grade 8 or the Carnival 2024 mail at grade 8. Either the Great Rugi Van Braces at grade 6 and the Azarathos Van Braces at grade 6. The Pink Rotting Coil at grade 6 and the Silver Rathalos Greaves at grade 8. Next up, we have the bows. So here's the best bow water builds data as we analyze the data for the most realistic water bow, water attack, and Namiel Electrowave combos. As we see per the data, Namiel Electrowave 3 is the strongest build. You need Focus 5 with bows, that's what makes it hard. But the good thing is, thanks to the game being at Season 7, there's a lot of combinations you can do. However, the cool thing is the critical element / elemental attack builds aren't too far behind at all, with a 5 to 6% difference. That's actually way closer than the melee build, so if you have nothing but elemental attack 5 and focus 5, if you see here, it actually works pretty dang well. So critical element also needs a water bow, big note, with positive affinity if you're going to get a consistent result. As with the melee weapons, again, because you need your crit not at 55 or at a coin flip percentage. No, it needs to be higher than that. On to the next one. First, we have the budget water bow builds. These are the cheapest water bow builds that give you the highest water attack. As we saw per the data, water attack isn't too far from like the best build. And thanks to a lot of gear additions, you can now get water attack 5 with focus 5. Thankfully. Back then you couldn't do it. It was like water attack 3 or something like that. And as we see here, the first build is the beginner's build. You want to get focus 5 and you want to get water attack. So you can't get water attack 5 if you're primarily looking at focus, but if you're still trying to get focus 5 at the earliest time you can as a bow user or bow main, the first build is what you want to use. The second build is what should be used if you have the Regen Coil / Nightshade Palumel built. So despite the fact that you do have access to water attack 5 now, there is still some components where they're pretty dang expensive. And if you can't make the top builds, well, this is the second best alternative, or again, if you're a beginner. So for the beginners one, if you're just looking to lock in focus 5, you have Puke helmet at grade 2, the Puke mail at grade 4, the Gyrototus Van Braces at grade 6, Rathos Coil at grade 6, and the Gyrototus Greaves at grade 6. If you're looking for water attack 5, you need the Mizutsune helmet at grade 6, Nightshade Paluma mail at grade 8, Gyrototus Van Braces at grade 6, Regen Coil at grade 8, and the Great Jagras Greaves at grade 6. On to the next one, we have the best water bow build. So, we own our budget, now we have the best. Namiel Electrowave 3, as this build maxes out Namiel Electrowave and Focus. Highest theoretical damage at 4737, and this build also gives you Focus 5 to maximize damage. The problem is, as with any build that gives you 3 Elder Dragon pieces to max it out, you need all of them at grade 8. That's the problem. And you need 4 grade 8 pieces, because Regen Coil isn't exactly a walk in a park. And the reason why people don't show you, and they just snapshot their actual phone pictures instead of actually showing they built you this stuff, because they don't have it. But if you do have it, the thing is it's very powerful. So, for the best water bow builds, and just for Namiel in general, you need the Azarathalos helmet at grade 6, the Namiel mail at grade 8, Namiel Van Braces at grade 8, Regen Coil at grade 8, and then Namiel Greaves at grade 8. Moving on, we have the best water bow build at number 2, Critical Element. As this build is a classic Critical Element bow build, and only about 5% behind the highest theoretical bow build. So 5% is a lot, you'll hardly notice a difference. And this build also gives you Focus 5 to max out the damage. The thing is though, when it comes to Critical Element, they're only consistent when paired with a weapon that has positive affinity. If you do it without one, it's not going to be consistent. You'll do a lot of damage still, but it's not going to be as consistent to where, unless you have a weapon like Silver Rathalos, Mizutsune, or Namiel, where you get positive affinity. To use this build, you need the Silver Rathalos helmet at grade 8, the Nightshade Paluma mail at grade 8, the Azarathos Van Braces at grade 6, Regen Coil at grade 8, and the Silver Rathalos Greaves at grade 8. And last but not least, we have the Bowgun. So here's the best Bowgun water builds data. Here we have the data for the most realistic Bowgun, water attack, and Namiel Electrowave combos. As we see per the data for the light bowgun, Water Attack 4 and Namiya Electro Wave 2 is the best. Unfortunately, for light bowguns, you need reload speed and recoil down 3. That's something you can't get around. However, for the heavy bowguns, they will follow the same exact builds except for the Namiya heavy bowgun, which only needs recoil down 1. Mizutsune and Gyrototus, the other ones, they do need reload speed and recoil down 3. For the Namiya one, you just need recoil down 1 again, so you don't need to put another slot to make up for that recoil. And because of that, we can actually insert another piece in there to give you more damage, which is why you see that one being so high versus the rest. Alright, now we're going to move on to the bowguns with the budget water bowgun build. This is the cheapest water bowgun build. This is the pathway to get to the more expensive ones, as it uses the classic Koropuke coil. Before Namiya helmet actually came along, this was the classic reload speed 1 and recoil down 1 material. And it caps water attack at level 4. If you're a beginner / early game player and you use bowguns, this is the path you should take. For this build, you need the Mizutsune helmet at grade 6, the Paluma mail at grade 6, Legion of Ambraces at grade 6, the Koropuke coil at grade 6, and the Great Jagras Greaves at grade 6. And now that we own over budget, we have the best water bowgun builds. At number 1, you have Namiya Electro Wave 2, as it maxes out recoil down and reload speed 3. Highest theoretical damage overall, as all of the light bowguns and heavy bowguns, except for Namiya heavy bowgun, need to max both the bowgun mechanic skills. If you have them any less than 3, you are actually tanking your DPS. So do not use anything lower than those 3, except for one, which would be the Namiya heavy bowgun. The bad thing is, of course, Elder Dragon pieces are expensive, but if you want the strongest builds in the game, you do need Elder Dragon pieces. At least for most of them. So, as you see right here, we have the Namiya helmet at grade 8, the Paluma mail at grade 6, Legion of Ambraces at grade 6, the Namiya coil at grade 8, as well as the Great Jagras Greaves at grade 8. This will be used for both light bowguns and heavy bowguns to max out reload speed and recoil down 3. And finally, we have the last build, the best Namiya heavy bowgun build. And Namiya heavy bowgun only needs 1 level of recoil down, making it allowing you to having the highest possible damage because you have a ton of extra damage boost skills. Here you have recoil down, latent power, and critical boost, along with weakness exploit, which you get from the weapon. In addition to this, the powerful thing about this weapon is that you have sleep ammo, and sleep ammo gives you a safe window to blast a monster with spread. You literally blast spread, put it to sleep, and then you can use your special skill and just blast it to oblivion, whichever one you want. You also have latent power if for later on, if it somehow manages to get past the first half of the battle. Here you go, you have latent power. For this build, you need the Namiya heavy bowgun at grade 8 or as high as you can get it, the Namiya helmet at grade 8, the Namiya mail at grade 8, Legion of Ambraces at grade 6, Namiya coil at grade 8, and the Great Jagras Greaves at grade 6. Hopefully this helps you with what water build you want to use. There's a lot of builds out here. I gave you budget as well as the expert ones. Seriously though, for some of them like the bow, you don't really need anything super powerful. The original one still works. With that being said, be sure to take advantage of all the Riftborne Magnamalo events, because you're going to be able to style customize now, and these blast weapons are actually very powerful. So you're going to want to use water to take them out unless you have a specific build from the other weapon types or other elements that you want to use from it. And like as you see right here, I'm able to blast and almost defeat Magnamalo, not flawlessly, but this is the 10-star trials Magnamalo. Yes, I finished the 10-star trials. If someone hasn't finished this, they're probably not that great. They need to show you that they've done this, because the 10-star trials, some of the hardest content in the game. With that being said, please do me a huge favor. Please like, subscribe, and comment for the YouTube algorithm. Good luck on your grinds. May you get all those parts you need for your Riftborne weapons. And I will see y'all on the next video.